Look at all this gear. Got a TV, got some more stuff over there. Got our soundboard and a few collectibles there. But welcome back to today's YouTube video. As you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, today we are going to be setting up our new podcast studio. This has been in the works for the last couple of months. My good friend Bennett Gooch, who I've known my whole life, him and I decided, you know what, we're finally going to take that leap and we want to start a YouTube show / podcast for 2021. And with some help from a few people, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the video, we're able to get all of this gear. So we should have a pretty fancy podcast, and like I said, we're gonna get it all set up, or at least get started for kind of like part number 1 of this series. And we should kind of have it all finished up this week so we can start shooting our first episodes and releasing them here on the channel. Anyway though, let's get started. Here is our new podcast studio. Now I wanted to show you the room before we started setting everything up. It's kind of like a rough draft. So when Bennett and I brought up the idea that we wanted to start a podcast and we started brainstorming, where could we do this? You know, we could obviously do it at my house, maybe in my bedroom, try to do it over in one of the corners. And then we got this killer idea that at my parents' work, they had one empty office, which is this room. And they said that we could 100% use it. And it's a good sized room. There's already a few desks in here that we're able to just use. So we're gonna be doing a few things, and in this episode, we're gonna be setting everything up. Last time Bennett was here, he brought a few decorations here for the studio. So I got those, and then I'm gonna be bringing some of my stuff that I'm also gonna wanna include in here at the end of the week. Like I said, this is kind of the beginning of the rough draft, and we're gonna kind of work through it here today. But I guess now it is time to get to work, and I'm excited for you guys to kind of hang out with me here today and see the transformation of this office. So I just carried everything inside, and I think slowly we're just gonna open up all of our gear, starting off with the headphones. Up next, we have our microphone stands. Microphones. These are up next. These things are so cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty big tech guy, and brand new technology, brand new gear, it's pretty sweet. So you're probably kind of getting the idea of what we're going for. One of the biggest things was trying to figure out the right desk, because since we do have a little bit of a limited amount of space in this room, with where the cameras need to be, where the microphones need to be, where the desk needs to be, the TV, all these different obstacles. And so we figured out this desk setup, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. If we do have to change it, we have to change it, but we're just kind of going, we're just kind of figuring it out as we go. So I figured one person will sit over here on this side, one person will sit on the other side. We'll have the TV, have all these decorations, and it'll be a really, really nice setup. And then as I walk towards the other side of the office, the camera will be somewhere over here, and it'll be a nice shot of it all. So far though, I think it's gonna really work out. Next up, we got a few cables. So I got most of the gear out, and at a quick glance, it actually looks pretty nice. Super simple. I was just working on plugging a few different cords in and trying to get everything in the right place, but I did kind of run into my first roadblock, which is actually a good thing because right now I'm actually at my parents' work in this office by myself, setting it all up. And I'm gonna be making notes of all the little things that I'm gonna need, like for example, what I'm about to show you. So the mics are all in the right spot, but I need something to kind of sit here right behind the desk that's hidden to put the mixer board on so we're still able to use it and adjust audio during the podcast. Right now I just have it sitting on a tiny box, but that kind of hides all these wires and keeps it all looking pretty clean versus if it was just sitting like right here with all the wire mess would just be all over the table. So I'll definitely try to find something to set that mixer board on. Another thing I'm kind of noticing, and you guys might be experiencing this in the vlog, at least with this mic, it should be completely fine with the mics we have for the podcast because they're a different style. They don't catch like any background noise, just whatever's right up to your mouth. But with this mic, I think during this vlog, there's probably gonna be some echo, and that's just however this room was built. So we might have to come up with a little bit of a solution for that. But anyway, I'm gonna continue making some progress. Got the TV put up. Now I'm opening up the new lens that I got for my camera specifically for the podcast because this is a wide angle lens. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, but it's just not really a good look for a podcast. It's just too wide angle, so I got a 24mm Canon lens. I'm not sure if it's gonna work well, obviously until I test it now, but from all the research I did, this should look pretty good. So this audio is not gonna sound very good because the camera is so far away, but this is gonna maybe kind of give you an idea of what it's gonna look like. This lens is just set at 24mm, so it's not like I can zoom in or zoom out, but I think it's gonna look pretty good for the podcast. Now it's just kind of getting it all in the right place. We might have to move this table right here. So here's kind of an idea of what this is probably gonna look like. Obviously the camera is gonna be farther back because this is just a shot of myself. This will be a good shot for me to kind of listen and hear what this all sounds like. A few things that we're missing, obviously chairs. So got that on the list. We're gonna need some chairs. And then also just a few more decorations. We have a few things to hang up on the wall, but I kind of wanna do that last until everything's kind of in the right spot. I think I'm gonna have to move these tables over a little bit so we have a little more room on this side. The other side has plenty of room. There are a few other small things that we need to figure out, but we're pretty much going to start shooting this week. Bennett is going to drive up from Northern California, and we're going to try to shoot the first 2 episodes. But I'm absolutely stoked to be starting this podcast. Stay tuned for what the name is in the first episode and when the first episode is going to be dropping. So here's one last look at our new studio and all the progress that I made today. First off, I'm gonna try to keep everything nice and neat. I kept some of the boxes from the gear in case we ever have to transport it somewhere else. This is one of my suits that I'm gonna be hanging up. So that'll be a pretty neat decoration to have in the background. And then we have the part that'll be on camera. This will be my side. I have one of my Ragin' Cajun Jason Johnson 2016 Sprint Car collectibles, a Kyle Busch collectible. Got our mics, headsets. This will be Bennett's side. And then we have some of his stuff over here. He brought a pretty cool trophy up. It's from the Tyler Wolff Memorial when he won at the Shasta Speedway in Northern California. Got one of his old side wing panels. And then I was just messaging with him and he says he has some more stuff to bring up, which will be cool to hang up on the wall. And then like I said earlier, I have more stuff to bring down to the studio on our next trip. So I'm stoked to take on this next adventure. With us doing the podcast, we are not gonna be slowing down uploads on the channel at all. And if anything, it just brings more content to the channel because literally the video version of our podcast will be uploaded every single week right here on the Tanner Holmes YouTube channel. I was so pumped in 2021. I really wanted to hold myself to a higher standard of just posting as much as possible and trying to bring new and unique content here to what we do. So Dad's gonna be here soon. I think he's gonna help me with a few more things. Then we're gonna head home and then like I said, come back later this week and get this first podcast rolling. Well, it is nighttime now and officially time to end today's YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If everything goes to plan, our goal is to drop our first podcast on January 20th. So a little over 2 weeks away. We want to kind of pre-shoot because Bennett and I are not from the same city. He's about 2.5 hours south of me. So there's definitely going to have to be some traveling involved to make this podcast happen. So we're going to try to stay a few weeks ahead at a time, pre-shoot stuff, get it up. That way, if anything does happen, we always have episodes out for you guys. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to our friends over at Modern Machinery. They sponsored a ton of the new gear that you saw in today's video, and they're helping us get this podcast up and off the ground. So we really appreciate their support. Anyway, guys, like I said, stay tuned for all the content coming your way. We're going to have stuff with the podcast. We're going to have some races coming up. Gonna be doing some more iRacing and working in the shop as we prepare for the 2021 sprint car season. So anyway, if you've not yet hit that subscribe button, if you've not liked the video yet, please do. Anyway, we'll talk soon and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Deuces.